Hello, my name is Reverend Dr. May Elise Cannon. Today is Saturday, April 6th, and today is the 183rd day since October 7th. Israel and the United States are currently on high alert. According to CBS News, official U.S. sources have said that the United States picked up intelligence that Iran is planning a retaliatory attack that would include a swarm of loitering drones and cruise missiles targeting the United States or Israeli assets in response to the killing of an Iranian general in Damascus. We've been talking about that attack on the Iranian embassy in Syria that happened over this past week. Officials said the timing and target are unknown, but a proportional response to the Damascus attack would be to hit an Israeli diplomatic facility. Reports suggest the strike could happen between now and the end of Ramadan next week. According to two Iranian officials cited in a report by the New York Times, Iran has placed its armed forces on full high alert, and a decision has been made that Iran must respond directly to the Damascus attack to create deterrence. We've heard that as a part of the strategy of certainly Israel and also the United States as well. Thousands of people attended the funeral of the slain General Mohammad Reza Zahedi on Saturday in Isfahan in central Iran, according to Iran's ISNA news agency. In Gaza, a joint statement from the Israel's Shin Bet Security Service, the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, reported that its forces killed Akram Abed al-Rahman Hassin Salameh, a senior Hamas security official, in an airstrike in South Gaza. Salameh also acted as the deputy municipal leader in Gaza's Khan Yunis. British Foreign Minister David Cameron said yesterday on Friday that major reform was needed from Israel to ensure that the safety of aid workers after the death of this week's 7 World Central Kitchen humanitarian staff, 3 of whom were British citizens. Australia said that it is appointing a special advisor to work with Israel to ensure full confidence in investigations into the World Central Kitchen's airstrike in Gaza that also killed an Australian citizen. And EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell warned yesterday that Israel's decision to open up new corridors for humanitarian aid for Gaza will not be enough to prevent starvation in the Strip. The health ministry in Gaza has said that the death toll is 33,137 Palestinians killed, 75,815 people wounded since October 7th. The New York Times has reported that during a call between Netanyahu and US President Biden, that Biden threatened to withhold support for Israel if Israel does not act to reduce civilian casualties in Gaza. Now, Biden, when he was asked about this, if he threatened to withhold U.S. military support, said he, quote, asked them to do what they are doing, end quote. In other words, referring to the investigation of the World Central Kitchen incident and also opening more crossings into Gaza for the entry of aid. So we do know that White House officials originally said that maybe the opening of the Erez crossing in North Gaza maybe wasn't enough. But according to Biden, it sounds like what Israel is doing will assuage, Biden's, potential threats, if you will. In a letter to his Democratic colleagues, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer pushed for a bill on emergency assistance to Ukraine, but he opted not to focus on elements of the bill that provided $14 billion in emergency assistance to Israel, which is quite significant. We've talked about Chuck Schumer's comments previously. Commenting on Israel Army operations in Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital, Senator Peter Welch said, quote, too many civilians have died in this war. America shouldn't be giving Israel more offensive weapons to continue this violent strategy, end quote. And in a rare move, Columbia University suspended 4 students who organized and participated in a pro-Palestinian event several weeks ago that featured speakers who were known to support, quote, terrorism and promote violence, end quote. Yesterday, this is quite significant, on Capitol Hill, 40 House Democrats, including the former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, urged President Biden to withhold pending arms transfers to Israel after the Central World Central Kitchen, 7 aid workers were killed in Gaza, as well as to place conditions on future weapons assistance. I wanted to highlight the way this letter concluded. They said, in light of the recent strike against aid workers and the ever worsening humanitarian crisis, we believe it is unjustifiable to approve these weapon transfers. We again strongly urge you to withhold any offensive weapons until the investigation into the airstrike is concluded. And if it's found the strike violated U.S. or international law, those responsible are held accountable. And we again urge you to ensure that any future military assistance to Israel, including already authorized transfers, is subject to conditions to ensure that it is used in compliance with U.S. and international law. The lead signatories were Mark Pocan, James McGovern, and Jan Schwakowski, members of Congress, in addition to a total of 40 House Democrats. In Israel, Israel said on Saturday that special forces had recovered the body of a hostage who had been killed while being held captive in Gaza as the Palestinians' enclave. Dominant Islamist movement, Hamas, has said that it will return to ceasefire talks in Cairo. The hostage was Alad Kotzer. He was a 47-year-old Israeli farmer. They actually unearthed his body in southern Khan Yunis, according to military reports. He had been killed by Palestinian Islamic Jihad captors and buried there in mid-January, according to intelligence reports. His father, Avraham, was killed while at the kibbutz near Oz. His mother, Hannah, was taken hostage, but was freed in November under a truce. In a January 8th video that Islamic Jihad had posted online, Kotzer had said, I am close to dying, or I was close to dying more than once, and it is a miracle I am still alive. I want to tell my family that I love them very much, and I miss them very much. May his memory be a blessing. And we continue to work and to call for the release of the hostages who remain alive in Gaza. According to Reuters, the Gaza Health Ministry on Saturday reported one of the lowest death tolls in 6 months in Gaza, saying that 46 Palestinians had been killed in Israeli airstrikes over the past 24 hours. A story that encouraged my heart today and also broke my heart was reported by Reuters. A 12-year-old Palestinian, Zakaria Sarsak, walks determinedly through a sea of people in Al-Aqsa Hospital in Gaza. But he's not there for treatment. He's working as a volunteer, helping the medics by filling syringes and moving stretchers. He decided he wanted to help those who have been wounded in the Israeli bombardment that displaced him and his family from their home. So now he spends much of his time at the hospital. I help bring injured people to Al-Aqsa Hospital. We also bring martyrs to the morgue, and I go with the ambulance to bring casualties, Sarsak said. Just to explain, in Arabic, martyrs is a term that means someone who lost their life for having experienced an injustice. It essentially is the same term used for anyone who lost their life because of something related to the Israeli conflict. In Christianity, the term would be witness, someone who lost their life because of their faith or gave their life for a cause, such as a living testimony. In Judaism, it might be a similar idea to may their memory be a blessing. Zakaria makes his way through the corridors wearing a blue fleece, a pair of protective gloves, and he takes on tasks such as moving patients and helping with taking blood pressure readings. And he said, when we go to those who are injured after attacks, I feel sad for children. He said this about his time spent in the hospital. And my hope and my prayer is that his story and those of so many others might motivate us in our efforts for peace, for the sake of the future of Palestinian children in Gaza, for the sake of Palestinian children everywhere, and for the sake of the children of Israel.